The days after the Galactic Council's visit turned the entire world upside down. Every major city now had silver drones floating above them, watching everything humans did. People couldn't go to work, school, or even the grocery store without seeing these constant reminders of their humiliation. The drones recorded everything and sent reports back to the Galactic Council. Nobody could forget what had happened in the United Nations building. President Sarah Williams called an emergency meeting with world leaders 3 days after the aliens left. She stood before them with fire in her eyes, very different from the shocked woman the aliens had silenced. "They think we are nothing," she said firmly. "They called us bacteria and primitives. But I refuse to accept this." The room buzzed with agreement. Prime Minister Raj Patel from India slammed his fist on the table. "My people are asking why we should even try anymore. If we are so worthless, what's the point?" President Chen from China nodded grimly. "The same in my country. But I say this is exactly when we must try harder." General Roberto Martinez had been busy since the alien visit. He gathered the best military minds from every nation in a secret underground bunker. The location was deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, hopefully hidden from the watching drones. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "we face the greatest challenge in human history, but we are not helpless." He displayed images of the alien technology they had witnessed. "They showed us their power, but they also showed us something else. Their arrogance. They think we're too stupid to learn from what we saw." Meanwhile, Dr. Elena Kozlova worked without sleep in her laboratory. The moment Zinthor had used his powers to shut down Earth's electronics, her instruments had recorded strange energy readings. She studied these readings over and over, trying to understand the science behind them. Her colleague, Dr. James Park from South Korea, video called her with excitement. "Elena, I found something. When the portal opened, it left behind quantum signatures. If we can decode these patterns," Kozlova finished his thought, "we might understand how their technology works." The real turning point came 1 week later. A young computer programmer named Lisa Chen, no relation to the ambassador, made a shocking discovery. She had been trying to hack into one of the surveillance drones using new algorithms. Instead of breaking through their security, she found something else. The drones were sending signals, but they were also receiving them. "These aren't just cameras," she explained to General Martinez. "They're teaching devices. The aliens are using them to show off their technology, to make us feel even more inferior." This discovery changed everything. If the drones were showing alien technology, then humans could study it. Dr. Kozlova assembled a team of the world's best scientists. They worked in shifts, analyzing every piece of data the drones transmitted. Physicist Dr. Ahmed Hassan from Egypt noticed patterns in the energy frequencies. Biologist Dr. Maria Santos from Brazil found ways to shield their work from drone detection using special materials. Engineer Dr. Ivan Petrov from Russia began designing new devices based on what they learned. The first breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Teenager Jake Thompson from Texas was playing with his home computer when he accidentally interfered with a drone signal. The drone flickered and dropped several feet before recovering. Jake immediately contacted the authorities, and soon he was working with Dr. Park's team. "The aliens' technology has a weakness," Dr. Park explained to President Williams. "They rely so heavily on their advanced systems that they never considered someone might use simple interference patterns against them." Factories around the world began secret production. They built new weapons based on the quantum signatures Dr. Kozlova had discovered. They created shields using the interference patterns Jake had found. Workers stayed late without extra pay, driven by anger at being called worthless. The aliens had united humanity in a way no human leader ever could. Every person on Earth now had the same goal: to prove the Galactic Council wrong. Captain Maria Santos, Special Forces Commander, started training soldiers in new tactics. "The aliens expect us to fight like primitives," she told her troops. "So we'll fight like humans instead. We'll be unpredictable, creative, and absolutely relentless." Her soldiers learned to use the new weapons while developing strategies the rigid alien minds wouldn't expect. They practiced in underground facilities, away from the watching drones. The alien surveillance showed humans going about their normal lives. People went to work, children went to school, and life seemed to continue as before. But beneath this calm surface, humanity was preparing. In hidden laboratories and secret military bases, in basement workshops and mountain bunkers, humans were doing what they did best: adapting and learning. The Galactic Council had made a crucial mistake. They had shown humanity exactly how superior technology worked. They had given the primitive bacteria a goal and the motivation to achieve it. Dr. Kozlova looked at her latest test results and smiled for the first time since the alien visit. The prototype weapon had successfully disrupted alien energy patterns. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Around the world, similar successes were happening. The aliens thought humans were too stupid to understand their technology. They thought fear and humiliation would keep Earth in line. They had never studied human history closely enough to know that the greatest human achievements came from being told something was impossible. The surveillance drones continued their watching, unaware that the primitives below were learning their secrets. 2 months had passed since the alien humiliation, and Earth's secret transformation was in full swing. Dr. Elena Kozlova stood in her underground laboratory, surrounded by equations and prototype devices. The breakthrough she had been waiting for finally came at 3 a.m. The energy patterns from Zenthor's portal hadn't just been random quantum signatures. They were a map, a blueprint hiding in plain sight. Her hand shook as she double-checked her calculations. The aliens' arrogance had led them to leave behind the keys to their own technology. She immediately called Dr. James Park in Seoul. His face appeared on the secure video link, tired but alert. "James, I've cracked it," she said breathlessly. "The portal technology isn't magic. It's based on folding space using quantum entanglement. And the best part? They accidentally showed us how to do it." Dr. Park's eyes widened as he reviewed her data. "Elena, this is incredible, but we need to be careful. If the drones detect what we're doing..." She nodded grimly. "That's why I'm calling you. Your research on the shield technology, is it ready?" Dr. Park had indeed made his own breakthrough. By studying the interference patterns young Jake Thompson had discovered, his team had developed an invisibility shield. Not true invisibility, but a way to hide their activities from alien sensors. "We tested it yesterday," he confirmed. "The drones flew right over our facility without detecting anything. We can hide our work." This was the protection they needed to take their research to the next level. Within days, a network of hidden laboratories spread across the globe. Each facility was shielded by Dr. Park's technology and connected by secure quantum communication that Dr. Hassan from Egypt had developed. Scientists who had once competed for Nobel Prizes now worked together with single-minded purpose. Dr. Ivan Petrov in Russia focused on weapons technology. Dr. Maria Santos in Brazil developed biological counters to alien scanning. Dr. Chen Wei in China created new materials that could withstand alien energy weapons. The real surprise came from an unexpected direction. Artists and musicians, the very people Zenthor had mocked, provided crucial insights. Musicians understood frequency patterns that helped decode alien communications. Video game designers created training simulations better than any military program. Writers and filmmakers imagined creative battle strategies that no alien would expect. Humanity's creativity, dismissed as primitive by the Council, became their secret weapon. Captain Maria Santos expanded her training program to include civilians. Teachers, doctors, engineers, and even children learned basic combat skills using the new weapons. The training happened in shopping malls after closing, in abandoned warehouses, and in school basements. Everyone wanted to contribute. The elderly shared wisdom, teenagers brought fresh ideas, and parents fought for their children's future. The aliens had unwittingly created the most united force in human history. The first field test of human technology happened in the Amazon rainforest. Captain Santos led a small team to capture a surveillance drone without alerting the network. Using Dr. Petrov's new plasma weapons and Dr. Park's shields, they succeeded. The drone was brought to Dr. Kozlova's lab for study. What they found inside amazed them. The alien technology was advanced, but not incomprehensible. They build everything the same way, Dr. Kozlova observed. No variation, no creativity. Every drone is identical. That's their weakness. This discovery led to the next phase of human development. Instead of copying alien technology exactly, humans improved it. They added their own innovations, creating hybrid devices that combined the best of both worlds. The plasma weapons became more versatile. The shields became adaptive. The communication systems became unhackable. Human creativity transformed alien rigidity into something entirely new. Ambassador Marcus Chen coordinated the global effort from a bunker beneath Geneva. He had maintained his role as Earth's liaison to keep the aliens unsuspecting. Every week, he sent reports to the Galactic Council about humanity's acceptance of their inferior status. Meanwhile, he secretly passed intelligence from these communications to the Resistance. The Council is completely convinced we're beaten, he reported to President Williams. They're not even monitoring their surveillance data carefully anymore. They think we're too primitive to be a threat. The production phase began 6 months after first contact. Factories that officially made consumer goods secretly produced weapons at night. Car plants built spacecraft components. Computer factories created quantum processors. The entire planet became a hidden war machine, all while maintaining the appearance of normal life. Workers took pride in their secret mission. Quality control was perfect because everyone understood the stakes. Dr. Kozlova's proudest moment came when they successfully created their first portal. It was smaller than Zinthor's and could only transport small objects, but it worked. The implications were staggering. Humans had reverse-engineered faster than light travel in less than a year. The same species the aliens had called cosmic bacteria had unlocked the secrets of space folding. She looked at her exhausted but excited team and knew they were ready for the next phase. Earth was no longer helpless. The transformation was remarkable. In public, humans appeared defeated and compliant. The surveillance drones recorded people going about their daily lives under alien watch. But in hidden places, in secret facilities, in the hearts of 7 billion humans, a revolution was building. They had taken the technology meant to humiliate them and turned it into hope. The Galactic Council's greatest mistake wasn't underestimating human intelligence. It was underestimating human determination. The primitives were learning, adapting, and preparing. Soon, it would be time to show the galaxy what humanity could really do. Captain Maria Santos stood before her assembled troops in the underground facility beneath the Andes Mountains. Around her gathered the most elite soldiers from every nation on Earth. These men and women had left their old rivalries behind to face humanity's greatest threat together. Santos had handpicked each one for their unique skills and unwavering determination. Today marked the beginning of real resistance operations against the Galactic Council's occupation. Today we stop hiding and start fighting, Santos announced to her team. We've trained with the new weapons. We've studied alien movement patterns. We know their weaknesses. She activated a holographic display, showing surveillance drone positions across South America. Our first mission is to disable these drones without alerting the main network. Remember, we're not just soldiers anymore. We're humanity's spear. Lieutenant John Baker from the United States studied the plasma rifle in his hands. The weapon was unlike anything he'd used before, created from Dr. Petrov's reverse-engineered alien technology combined with human innovation. Beside him, Sergeant Yuki Tanaka from Japan checked her stealth suit, designed by Dr. Park's team to make the wearer invisible to alien sensors. Captain Ahmed Farid from Egypt tested his quantum disruptor, a device that could shut down alien technology temporarily. Every soldier carried equipment that seemed like magic compared to traditional human weapons. The first strike team consisted of 12 specialists. They emerged from hidden tunnels into the Amazon rainforest just after sunset. The nearest surveillance drone hovered 50 meters above the canopy, its silver surface gleaming in the fading light. Santos gave the signal, and her team moved like shadows through the trees. They had practiced this approach hundreds of times in simulation. Now it was real. Tanaka activated her stealth suit and climbed a massive tree directly beneath the drone. The alien device showed no sign of detecting her. She attached a small disruption device to the trunk and descended quickly. At Santos' command, the device activated. The drone flickered, its lights dimming as its systems fought the interference. In that moment of weakness, Baker fired his plasma rifle. The shot was perfect, striking the drone's power core. The machine fell silently into the jungle where Farid's team waited to collect it. Success brought confidence, but Santos kept her team focused. They repeated the operation across the region, taking down isolated drones and studying their technology. Each captured drone provided new information for the scientists. Dr. Kozlova's team discovered that the drones communicated through quantum entanglement, making their network theoretically unhackable. But humans found a way around this. They couldn't hack the network, but they could feed it false information by manipulating captured drones. The resistance cells spread across the globe, each led by hand-picked officers trained by Santos. In Siberia, Russian teams disabled drones over remote forests. In the Sahara, African units struck at dawn when alien sensors struggled with heat distortion. Australian forces used the outback's vast emptiness to their advantage. Each success was carefully planned to look like technical malfunctions rather than attacks. The Galactic Council received reports of minor drone failures, but saw no patterns suggesting organized resistance. Training camps multiplied in hidden locations. Former Olympic athletes taught soldiers enhanced movement techniques. Video game champions became tactical advisors, their years of strategic thinking proving invaluable. Martial artists developed new fighting styles designed to counter alien physiology. Engineers created maintenance protocols for the new weapons. Every human skill, no matter how seemingly unrelated to warfare, found purpose in the resistance. The real breakthrough came from an unlikely source. Corporal Lisa Wong, a communications specialist, noticed something odd about captured drone transmissions. The aliens encrypted their data, but they used the same encryption key repeatedly. They're so confident in their superiority that they don't bother changing their codes, she reported to Santos. This discovery allowed humans to intercept and decode alien communications without detection. General Martinez coordinated global operations from his mountain bunker. The wall displays showed resistance activities across Earth, each mission carefully planned to avoid detection. "We're not ready for open warfare," he explained to world leaders during a secure conference. "But we're weakening their surveillance network and learning their tactics. When the time comes, we'll be prepared." The psychological impact on human forces was remarkable. Soldiers who had felt helpless during the alien humiliation now struck back with precision and skill. Each successful mission boosted morale and attracted new recruits. Farmers, teachers, doctors, and workers joined local resistance cells. They might not be soldiers, but they could gather intelligence, hide weapons, and support operations. The entire human race was mobilizing. Santos personally led the most dangerous missions. Her team infiltrated a grounded alien shuttle in Peru, copying its navigation database before escaping undetected. They ambushed a lone council inspector in Antarctica, capturing the alien alive for the first time. The prisoner, a lower-ranking technician, provided valuable intelligence about council operations and hierarchy. Humans learned that most council species were administrators and scientists, not warriors. They relied on technology and fear rather than actual combat experience. 6 months into the resistance campaign, humanity had achieved the impossible. Over 1,000 surveillance drones had been disabled or captured. The aliens attributed the losses to Earth's primitive environment, affecting their technology. Thousands of resistance fighters were fully trained and equipped with hybrid weapons. Scientists had decoded enough alien technology to begin building their own spacecraft. Most importantly, humans had overcome their fear. Santos stood in her command center, watching reports stream in from around the globe. Every green dot represented a successful mission. Every blue marker showed a new training camp. Every red line indicated intercepted alien communications. The Galactic Council still believed humans were beaten and compliant. They had no idea that the cosmic bacteria had evolved into a coordinated fighting force. The Resistance was ready for Phase 2, taking the fight beyond Earth's atmosphere. The morning of humanity's first major victory began like any other day under alien surveillance. People went to work, children attended school, and the silver drones continued their endless watching. But in the hidden command center beneath Geneva, Ambassador Marcus Chen prepared to execute Operation Lightning Strike. 6 months of careful planning had led to this moment. Today, humans would capture their first Galactic Council inspection team and change the course of the war. Council Inspector Vorthak arrived on Earth for a routine check with 2 subordinates. The reptilian alien scales shimmered green as he materialized through a portal in the Australian outback. He had performed hundreds of these inspections across primitive worlds and expected nothing unusual. Earth's humans appeared thoroughly defeated according to all surveillance reports. Vorthak would verify their compliance, collect data, and leave within 3 hours. He had no idea that Captain Santos and her strike team were waiting just beyond his sensor's range. The ambush was perfectly coordinated. As Vorthak's team moved toward the nearest city, Dr. Park's interference fields activated. The aliens' advanced equipment suddenly malfunctioned, leaving them essentially blind. Santos gave the signal, and 50 resistance fighters emerged from concealed positions. Plasma rifles fired in precise patterns, disabling the aliens' personal shields before they could react. Within seconds, the inspection team was surrounded by armed humans pointing weapons the Council believed were impossible for such a primitive species to possess. Vorthak's yellow eyes widened in shock as electromagnetic nets trapped him and his companions. He tried to activate his emergency beacon, but human jammers blocked all outgoing signals. The reptilian inspector found himself helpless, captured by the very beings he had come to look down upon. As soldiers loaded the aliens into shielded transport vehicles, Vorthak spoke his first words to his captors. "This is impossible. You are primitives. You cannot have this technology." Santos smiled coldly. "That's exactly what we wanted you to think." The captured aliens were taken to an underground facility in the Swiss Alps. Dr. Kozlova's team had prepared special containment cells that neutralized alien technology while keeping the prisoners comfortable. The interrogation was led by Ambassador Chen himself, who spoke to the aliens in their own language, thanks to months of studying intercepted communications. Vorthak initially refused to cooperate, insisting that the Council would destroy Earth for this offense. But as hours passed and no rescue came, his confidence began to crack. The information extracted from the inspection team exceeded all expectations. Humans learned that the Galactic Council controlled only 10% of the galaxy's civilizations through actual military force. The rest submitted out of fear and propaganda. Most Council species were administrators, not warriors. Their military consisted mainly of automated systems and intimidation tactics. The Council's true strength lay in their reputation, not their armies. This revelation changed everything for human strategists. President Sarah Williams called an emergency meeting of world leaders to discuss the intelligence. "The Council is a paper tiger," she announced to the assembled presidents and prime ministers. "They rule through fear, not strength. If we can break that fear, we can inspire others to resist." General Martinez presented battle plans based on the new information. "We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting to free the entire galaxy from their tyranny." News of the captured inspection team sparked celebrations in resistance camps worldwide. Soldiers who had trained for months finally saw proof that their efforts weren't in vain. Scientists worked even harder, knowing their innovations could defeat the supposed masters of the galaxy. Citizens volunteered in record numbers, wanting to be part of humanity's historic stand. The myth of Council invincibility had been shattered by one successful operation. The Council's response came 2 weeks later. A fleet of 50 warships appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system, led by Zinthor himself. The crystalline ambassador broadcast a message to Earth, demanding the immediate release of the inspection team and surrender of all resistance leaders. He threatened to reduce Earth's cities to ash if humans didn't comply within 24 hours. But humanity was no longer the frightened species that had stood helpless in the United Nations building. Dr. Kozlova's team had used the captured aliens' technology to complete their most ambitious project. Working around the clock, they had built humanity's first faster-than-light capable ships. They were smaller than Council vessels and less elegant, but they incorporated human creativity that made them unpredictable in battle. Fighter pilots trained in simulators based on captured navigation data. Engineers installed weapons that combined human and alien technology in ways the Council had never imagined. As Zinthor's deadline approached, Earth's response shocked the galaxy. Instead of surrendering, humans launched their new fleet from hidden bases across the planet. 100 small, fast ships rose from underground hangars and underwater facilities. They'd moved in patterns that defied Council tactical doctrine, using strategies developed by video game players and military historians. The massive Council warships found themselves facing an enemy that refused to fight by their rules. The first space battle in human history began as Earth's fighters engaged the alien fleet near Jupiter. Council commanders expected an easy victory against primitive vessels. Instead, they faced opponents who used their ships' smaller size to outmaneuver the larger warships. Human pilots performed moves that seemed insane by Council standards, flying through asteroid fields and using gravity wells to slingshot around planets. Their hybrid weapons punched through shields designed to stop traditional energy beams. By the end of the first day, 5 Council warships had been disabled and 3 more seriously damaged. Human losses were minimal, with most damaged fighters able to retreat for repairs. The mighty Galactic Council fleet found itself in an actual fight for the first time in millennia. Earth's victory announcement spread across the planet in minutes. Cities erupted in celebration as people realized their species had just won its first battle among the stars. The cosmic bacteria had grown teeth, and the galaxy would never be the same. Zinthor stood on the bridge of his flagship, his crystalline body pulsing with colors of rage and disbelief. The tactical displays showed something impossible happening around Jupiter. The primitive humans were not only fighting back, but winning against his superior fleet. His second-in-command, a gelatinous being named Quex, trembled as another Council warship went dark on their screens. Ambassador, the humans have disabled the Eternal Dominion. That's our 6th ship down. How is this possible? The answer came from the battle footage playing on the main viewer. Human fighters moved like insects, darting between the massive Council ships with impossible agility. They used Jupiter's moons as cover, striking from unexpected angles before vanishing again. Their weapons, clearly based on stolen Council technology, but modified in ways Zinthor didn't understand, pierced shields that should have been impenetrable. The humans fought without formation or traditional tactics, making them utterly unpredictable. "Order all ships to Titan formation," Zinthor commanded, his voice echoing with frustration. "Use overwhelming firepower. Destroy them all at once." But as his fleet moved into position, the human fighters did something unprecedented. They began broadcasting on all Council frequencies, not with surrender offers but with laughter. The sound of human amusement filled the bridge, reminding every alien of their humiliation of Earth months ago. Now the positions were reversed. Captain Santos led the human offensive from her command fighter. "Strike teams Alpha through Delta. Execute maneuver Mosquito Swarm," she ordered. The pattern was one that military strategists and gamers had developed together. Fighters would approach in seeming chaos, then suddenly coordinate strikes on specific targets. The Council's automated defense systems couldn't adapt to such erratic behavior. Their programming expected enemies to attack in logical patterns. The battle intensified as more human ships joined from Earth. Dr. Kozlova watched from mission control, analyzing the Council weapons' performance. Their main guns need 7 seconds to charge between shots, she reported to the fleet. Their shields drop to half power when they fire. Time your attacks accordingly. This real-time intelligence gave human pilots crucial advantages. They learned and adapted even during combat, something the rigid Council forces couldn't match. Lieutenant Baker's fighter squadron demonstrated humanity's creative advantage when they encountered a Council destroyer. Instead of attacking head-on, they used debris from destroyed satellites as impromptu weapons. Accelerating metal fragments to high speed, they created a cloud of projectiles that overwhelmed the destroyer's point defense systems. While the alien ship dealt with this unconventional assault, Baker's team struck its engines with plasma torpedoes. The destroyer spun helplessly into Jupiter's gravity well. Zinthor's fury reached new heights as report after report of human victories reached him. He had brought 50 of the Council's finest warships to crush a primitive rebellion. Now nearly half his fleet was disabled or destroyed. The unthinkable was happening before his eyes. The cosmic bacteria were defeating the galaxy's supreme rulers. His carefully maintained image of Council invincibility was crumbling with each passing hour. On Earth, the population watched the battle through telescopes and intercepted Council communications. Cities that had lived under alien surveillance for months erupted in celebration. The silver drones that had symbolized their oppression were now being shot down by civilians with the new plasma weapons. In Beijing, crowds gathered in Tiananmen Square chanting, "Humanity rises." In New York, people danced in Times Square beneath burning drone wreckage. The fear was gone, replaced by defiant hope. General Martinez coordinated the global uprising from his command center. All resistance cells. Commence Operation Freedom Sky. Take down every surveillance drone. Show them Earth belongs to us. Across the planet, hidden weapons emerged from basements and warehouses. Teachers and shopkeepers joined soldiers in targeting the alien watchers. Within hours, the comprehensive surveillance network that had monitored humanity was in ruins. The space battle reached its climax when Zinthor made a desperate decision. He ordered his remaining ships to retreat to higher orbit and prepare for planetary bombardment. If he couldn't defeat the human fleet, he would destroy their cities from space. But humanity had prepared for this possibility. Dr. Park's team had developed a planetary shield generator based on captured alien technology. As Council weapons charged, an energy barrier materialized around Earth like a soap bubble. The first orbital strikes hit the shield and dissipated harmlessly. President Williams broadcast a message to Zinthor's fleet. "Ambassador, you came to our world and called us bacteria. You humiliated us and tried to break our spirit, but you failed to understand human nature. We are at our strongest when facing impossible odds. We unite when threatened. We innovate when challenged. And we never, ever give up." Her words reached not just the Council fleet, but every enslaved world monitoring the battle. The impossible was happening. Earth was winning. The final blow came when human reinforcements arrived from the moon. Hidden bases there had been building ships for months, protected by stealth fields from alien detection. 200 fresh fighters joined the battle, led by pilots who had trained in secret. Zinthor's remaining fleet found itself outnumbered and outmaneuvered. Council ships designed for intimidation couldn't match human vessels built for actual combat. As more Council warships fell, Zinthor faced a choice that would have been unthinkable hours ago. His crystalline form flickered with colors of defeat as he gave the order. "All ships retreat. Return to Council space immediately." The remnants of his once mighty fleet began emergency jump procedures, abandoning disabled vessels and their crews. The Supreme Ambassador of the Galactic Council was running from the primitives he had mocked. Earth's victory was complete. Humanity had not just survived the Council's assault, but had driven them away in humiliation. The news spread across the galaxy at faster than light speed. On 1,000 enslaved worlds, oppressed species watched footage of Council ships fleeing from human fighters. The myth of Council invincibility hadn't just cracked. It had shattered completely. The cosmic bacteria had shown the galaxy that the Council could be beaten. Revolution was no longer a dream, but a possibility. The news of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire through the quantum communication networks. On the water world of Hydros Prime, the enslaved Naneri watched the battle footage with their large aquatic eyes. For 3,000 years, they had served the Council as laborers in underwater mines. Their leader, Coral Singer Meloria, called her people together in the deep trenches where the Council couldn't monitor them. "The humans have shown us the truth," she sang in their musical language. "The Council can bleed. They can lose. They can run." On the desert planet of Scorios, the Quellans emerged from their underground cities to discuss what they had witnessed. These beings, covered in thick armor plates, had submitted to Council rule after their first warships were destroyed centuries ago. Elder Kazarek stood before the warrior council, his ancient voice carrying across the chamber. "We were once fighters. We let fear make us slaves. But these humans, called bacteria by the Council, have reminded us who we are. It is time to reclaim our honor." Ambassador Chen coordinated with these awakening civilizations from Earth's new Galactic Communication Center. Using captured Council technology, humans reached out to every oppressed species they could find. The message was simple but powerful. "You are not alone. The Council can be defeated. Join us." Within days, encrypted responses poured in from dozens of worlds. Species that had never dared to dream of freedom now saw hope in humanity's example. The Thorians of Kepler 442 bits were the first to officially join Earth's rebellion. These tall, ethereal beings possessed unique psychic abilities that the Council had exploited for generations. Their leader, Mindweaver Alara, appeared on Earth's communication screens with determination burning in her violet eyes. "We offer our telepathic networks to coordinate your alliance. The Council used our minds as tools. Now we use them as weapons against our oppressors." Captain Santos led the first human diplomatic mission to alien worlds. Her team traveled in the captured Council warship, now painted with Earth's blue and green colors. Their first stop was Hydros Prime, where thousands of Naneri waited at the spaceport. The aquatic beings moved like living waves, their bioluminescent skin glowing with excitement. Santos stepped onto their wet world wearing a specially designed environmental suit. "We come as friends and allies," she announced. "Together, we will free the galaxy." The liberation of Hydros Prime happened faster than anyone expected. The Naneri's unique understanding of fluid dynamics, developed in their ocean cities, proved perfect for sabotaging Council facilities. They flooded mining operations and disabled defensive systems using nothing but water pressure. Council administrators, used to dealing with compliant slaves, found themselves trapped in their own bases as the oceans themselves turned against them. Within a week, Hydros Prime was free. News of each liberated world inspired more rebellions. The mechanical Vorthan disconnected themselves from Council control networks. The crystalline prisms bent light itself to blind Council surveillance. The gaseous nebulae used their ability to phase through matter to infiltrate Council strongholds. Every species contributed their unique abilities to the growing revolution. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't their technology, but their ability to unite these diverse beings against a common enemy. Zinthor retreated to the Council's capital world of Nexus Prime, where panic spread through the crystalline towers. Council members who had ruled for millennia suddenly faced the possibility of losing everything. The six-legged Kravik representative scuttled nervously around the Council chamber. "How did this happen? We had perfect control. These primitives should have been cowering in fear." Zinthor's colors pulsed with dark fury. "We underestimated them. We showed them our power and assumed they would break. Instead, we taught them how to fight us." General Martinez established the Free Systems Alliance military headquarters on Earth's moon. The base buzzed with activity as strategists from 20 different species planned the final assault on Nexus Prime. Thorian telepaths shared thoughts with Nenari hydro-engineers. Quellan warriors trained beside human soldiers. Vorthan technicians upgraded everyone's equipment with mechanical precision. The diversity that the Council had seen as weakness became the Alliance's greatest strength. The Alliance fleet assembled near Neptune became the largest military force in galactic history. 2,000 ships from 30 different worlds prepared for the final battle. Human vessels flew alongside Nenari bioships and Quellan dreadnoughts. Thorian mine singers coordinated movements, while Vorthan engineers maintained weapons. Every ship bore the Alliance symbol, a spiral galaxy with all its stars shining equally bright. The message was clear. No more would one species dominate others. As the fleet prepared to jump to Nexus Prime, Captain Santos stood on the bridge of the Alliance flagship. Around her worked beings that the Council had tried to keep separated and subservient. Now they stood united, ready to tear down the empire that had oppressed them for millennia. She thought back to that day in the United Nations, when Zenthor had humiliated humanity. That arrogant display had sparked the revolution that would free the galaxy. Sometimes, the greatest mistakes came from underestimating those considered inferior. The cosmic bacteria were about to remind the universe of that lesson. The assault on Nexus Prime began at dawn by the artificial planet's reckoning. The Free Systems Alliance fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, catching the Council's defenses off guard. Admiral Martinez commanded from the bridge of humanity's flagship, renamed Defiance for this historic battle. Around him, officers from dozen species worked in harmony. "All wings report ready," announced Commander Alara, the Thorian telepath serving as fleet coordinator. The Council's automated defenses are responding predictably. They cannot adapt to our chaos strategy. Nexus Prime was a marvel of technology, an artificial world built entirely from programmable matter. Its crystalline towers reached into space like frozen lightning, each one a fortress bristling with weapons. The Council leadership cowered within the central spire, protected by layers of shields and automated defenses. They had built this world to be impregnable, never imagining they would need to defend it from former slaves. The battle began with the Nenari bioships releasing clouds of microscopic organisms. These tiny creatures, evolved in the deep oceans of Hydros Prime, fed on energy itself. They swarmed over the Council's shield generators, slowly draining their power. While the automated systems tried to adapt, human fighters struck at communication arrays. The rigid Council defenses couldn't coordinate properly without their networks. Each species contributed their unique advantage to the assault. Inside the central spire, Zenthor watched his empire crumble on the tactical displays. His crystalline body flickered with colors of desperation as another defensive layer fell. "Activate the Doomsday Protocol," he ordered his remaining commanders. "If we cannot rule the galaxy, we will destroy it." But when they tried to access the ancient weapon systems, they found them already disabled. Vorthan infiltrators had spent weeks secretly sabotaging critical systems. The mechanical beings knew every circuit and connection in Council technology. Captain Santos led the ground assault with a mixed team of Alliance Special Forces. They landed on Nexus Prime's surface using stealth shuttles, avoiding the aerial battle raging above. The artificial ground shifted beneath their feet, trying to trap them. But Quellan warriors used their natural armor to shield the team. "Remember, we want the Council leadership alive," Santos reminded her troops. "They need to face justice for their crimes. Every enslaved world deserves to see them answer for their tyranny." The strike team fought through automated guardians and security systems, each obstacle overcome by different species working together. Thorian mind-benders confused robotic sentries, while human hackers disabled electronic locks. Prism light-shapers created illusions to misdirect defenses, while nebula scouts phased through walls to find alternate routes. The Council had never designed their security to handle such diverse threats simultaneously. In space, the battle reached its turning point when the Alliance's secret weapon deployed. Dr. Kozlova had worked with Vorthan engineers to create a virus that targeted the Council's artificial intelligence systems. The code spread through their networks, not destroying but liberating. Automated ships began ignoring orders. Defense platforms shut down. The machines that had enforced Council rule for millennia simply stopped obeying. The Empire's greatest strength became useless in moments. Panic spread through the Council chamber as Zinthor and his fellow rulers realized their situation. The six-legged Kravak tried to flee but found all exits sealed. The jellyfish-like Aquarii attempted to activate personal teleporters, but discovered they had been jammed. For the first time in their ancient lives, the Council members felt truly helpless. The final barriers fell as Santos and her team reached the Council chamber. The massive doors, designed to withstand stellar impacts, opened easily thanks to Vorthan hacking. Inside, the beings who had terrorized countless worlds huddled together like frightened children. Zinthor stood in the center, his crystalline form dim with defeat. The arrogant ambassador who had humiliated Earth now faced the consequences of his hubris. Zinthor of the Galactic Council, Captain Santos announced formally, "You are under arrest for crimes against sentient beings. You enslaved entire civilizations. You destroyed cultures and suppressed freedom. You called us bacteria and tried to break our spirits. But you fail to understand that oppression only makes the oppressed stronger. Your reign of terror is over." The Council members were taken into custody without resistance. They who had ruled through fear now understood what it meant to be powerless. As they were led away, beings across the galaxy watched the historic moment. On every liberated world, former slaves celebrated their tormentors' downfall. The mighty Galactic Council, which had seemed invincible for millennia, had fallen in less than a year to an alliance led by the species they had mocked the most. President Williams arrived at Nexus Prime to oversee the transition. The artificial world would be transformed from a symbol of oppression into the capital of the new Galactic Alliance. The crystalline towers that had housed rulers would become meeting halls for democratic assemblies. The vaults that had hoarded technology would share knowledge freely. The empire built on hierarchy would be replaced by a community of equals. As the Council members awaited trial, Zinthor was placed in a cell with a view of the transformation happening outside. He watched former slave species working together to dismantle everything he had built. The crystalline being who had once radiated superiority now flickered with the dull colors of understanding. He finally grasped the truth that had defeated him. No species was inherently superior to another. The bacteria he had scorned had taught the galaxy its most important lesson. Unity was stronger than dominion, creativity more powerful than control, and hope more enduring than fear. 1 year after the fall of Nexus Prime, the transformed artificial world buzzed with life from across the galaxy. The crystalline towers that once symbolized oppression now served as meeting places for the Galactic Alliance Assembly. Representatives from every free world gathered in the main chamber, their diverse forms creating a beautiful tapestry of sentient life. At the center stood President Sarah Williams of Earth, elected as the first rotating leader of the Alliance. Her term would last 1 year before another species representative took the role, ensuring no single world dominated the others. The transformation of the galaxy had been remarkable. Former slave worlds flourished with freedom, their unique cultures finally able to develop without Council suppression. The Nanari's underwater cities expanded into works of art, their bioluminescent architecture visible from space. The Quellans reopened their ancient warrior academies, teaching honor and protection rather than conquest. The Thorians established telepathic networks that connected willing minds across star systems, sharing knowledge and emotions freely. Ambassador Marcus Chen, now serving as Earth's permanent representative to the Alliance, presented the Universal Declaration of Species Rights to the Assembly. No being shall be considered superior or inferior based on their form, origin, or abilities, he read to the gathered delegates. All sentient life has the right to freedom, self-determination, and dignity. Never again will one species rule over another through fear or force. The declaration passed unanimously, with even former Council species voting in favor. The trial of the Galactic Council had concluded 6 months earlier. Rather than execution or imprisonment, the Alliance chose rehabilitation. Zinthor and his fellow rulers were sentenced to community service on the worlds they had oppressed. The crystalline former ambassador now worked in Neneri schools, teaching young aquatic beings about the dangers of prejudice. He had learned humility through experiencing life from the perspective of those he had wronged. Other council members faced similar sentences, learning empathy through service. Captain Maria Santos had been promoted to admiral and now commanded the Alliance Defense Fleet. Her mission had evolved from warfare to peacekeeping. Ships that once prepared for battle now escorted humanitarian missions and scientific expeditions. The weapons designed to fight oppression were repurposed to protect freedom. Santos often visited Earth's military academies, sharing the lessons learned from humanity's darkest hour and greatest triumph.